Today we're going to fix this rusted step for my Explorer. The winter was pretty rough this year, and that rust that I thought I had taken care of wasn't taken care of. Taking a steel brush and clean that out, gotten all the debris out of the back, and now I'm going to use JB steel stick, unsponsored, and we're going to see if we can backfill that and maybe a little bit in the front, make this step as good as new. On a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being disassembling an explosive bomb and 1 being barely have to get out of bed to do the project, this is probably a 2. Have confidence. You can do this. It's not that hard. As long as you have the tools in the steel stick. That stuff works great. And what I've done is I've cut off 1/4 of the stick. I'll put this back in and protect it. Mix it together. You want to make sure you're wearing gloves. I'm using clear, transparent gloves for video reasons. You want to make sure it's all one color. Put it in here. Oh, look at that. It's going to work out using the crack as a guide. Just kind of fusing it up. I was thinking about using Bondo. If this stuff works, that would be better. I'm going to need a little more, probably another 1/4 stick to fill out the front in this piece here. And you can make it all kinds of shapes to help. I know you can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm just finishing the putty all the way down. This is a preventative as much as anything else to keep further rust from happening. Sets in 3 minutes, and after 60 minutes can be drilled, tapped, machined, ground, filed, painted, blah, blah, blah. This stuff is great. It will harden up quickly if you're not careful, so you got to be deliberate with it. But lay that in where that crack is and build it up. It's working better than I thought it was going to work. Just kind of smooth and feather it out. And if you wanted to and you had a big crack, I guess you could build it up over time. Hole is no longer there. Well, let's just see how it does after it's dried. Here's my other hole. There's a little crack up here I'm going to have to worry about too. I've got some extra that I didn't use up front, so I'm just going to make that into a thin snake. I can feel it starting to hard up now, so that's a factor. Maybe this isn't going to work. You got a lot of repair. You might want to do it a little bit at a time. A couple minutes later, this stuff is unusable. I'll leave that there. If it doesn't work, I can always refill it. And I'm going to use this a 1/4 stick at a time, just because of how quickly it hardened up. This hard piece, I'm going to use that as a filler. Lucky me to give it some structural support, and then I've flattened it out almost like a pancake, and I'm going to put that in the back here and then go behind where I made this repair. All right, then I'm going to take this front pancake before it hardens, and I'm just going to smooth that in on here. I don't want to do a lot of sanding, but I do want to make that repair solid so I don't have to go back and do it again. And then I'll fill in that little piece once this is hardened, because I'm having problems with putting the putty back and forth. And I know this is going to harden up pretty soon anyway. It's been about 45 minutes and I am flabbergasted. It's like this hole was never here. And notice the crack I'm going to fill in here. Absolutely amazing at how well that's filled in and repaired that rusty hole. Here's the second repair. I went to cut this stuff, and this has been 30 minutes. Okay, so I can cut it. and get it down beyond that plastic, and I'll sand it down. You saw how big that hole was. Huge. I've sandwiched the metal with the steel stick on both sides, and that's better or just as good as the original metal. I couldn't ask for a steel stick to work any better than this. In order to give it a little more adhesion, I'm taking the steel brush and roughing up the surface a little bit to help the steel stick adhere. I've proven that you can build it up on itself and do it in stages if you need to, depending on what your situation is. I'm going to run some errands on this. Shouldn't be a problem. You're going to build it up. You can start building it up, I would say 20-30 minutes after the original coating. Always wear gloves. I wear an N95 mask that we all know and love from COVID. When doing any kind of work, Bondo, JB Weld, whatever it is. All I needed was a scraper, a couple files. This is a triangle file, and this is a semi-round file. I'll post all these down below, and some sandpaper to clean this up and prep it for paint. It really didn't take long at all. A little bit of patience, and you can make it look like the hole was never there. In here is the other side, faired in. I'm just amazed at how well that's concealing the hole. Now all I have to do is paint. I'm going to use this Rust-Oleum protective enamel. Post it down below. I'm really happy how this turned out. I've cleaned and prepped the area. I'm going to use a paint sponge. So let's get to it. One, maybe two coats, we'll see. Probably two coats. Now I'm probably not going to drive the car for 24 hours and really let this paint set in here and dry before I get any road debris on it. Here's the second spot. This one really fared in nicely. If you remember, the hole was huge. It was about this big to that big. And that steel stick just worked perfectly. Some people are against painting sponges, but I find it works with all sorts of paint. And when you're done, you just pitch them. They're inexpensive and they do the job. Paint is dry, project's done. Have confidence, you can do this. It's not that hard. As long as you have the tools and the steel stick. This is unsponsored, but that stuff works great. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in all sorts of car repairs, home repairs, making and breaking things, designs of all kinds, I even do costumes, cosplay, and props. Check out my channel and please subscribe, because you never know what steps to success for your repair you're gonna see.